Lyndon, I read a book. In her new book, We Refrain, A Forceful History of Black Resistance, author Kelly Carter Jackson taught me 5 ways that black people have historically responded to white supremacy: revolution, protection, force, flight, and joy. Given that white supremacy is about to become enshrined in new and significant ways in the upcoming administration, let's look briefly at each way in which black people have resisted white supremacy. And let's look, too, at how the Urban League works hard every day to resist white supremacy. First, revolution. As Kelly Carter Jackson notes, at the core of revolution is structural change. A revolution is a safe neighborhood. It's equal access to health care, safe and affordable housing, quality education for everybody, an end to mass incarceration, and its destruction of families and communities. In short, revolution means black Americans living the lives that most white Americans live every day. The Louisville Urban League is here to lead such a revolution. Second, protection. Defense is foundational to fighting white supremacy. Without protection in America, black people were made into slaves, sharecroppers, convict lessees, lynching victims. Without protection in America, we have Bloody Sunday in Selma. We have the murder of 4 little girls in a church in Birmingham in 1963, 9 more in a church in Charleston in 2015. But with protection, we see the Black Panther Party's free breakfast program. We see St. Stephen's Seniors program. We see this track in West Louisville, what I call the track that Sadiqa built. We see the success of Simmons College. We see the Louisville Urban League's Riley Reentry Expungement Clinics, Kumon classes to overcome barriers in education, homeownership counseling certificates and job training programs, and free wills and life planning documents. The Louisville Urban League is here to offer such protection. Third, force. As Carter Jackson notes, force can be a strike. It can be a boycott. It can be a protest against police violence, or it could be a vote. It's rooted in anger, righteous anger, which is an appropriate response to white violence, to urban renewal, to redlining, to racial deed restrictions, and to mass incarceration. Force brings about change. It demands equity, it demands inclusion, and it demands it now. The Louisville Urban League is here to force change. Fourth, flight. During slavery, this meant fleeing to the northern states. For some, it meant relocating to Canada or to Africa. During the Great Migration, flight meant 6 million black people feeling the need to flee from the south to northern, western, and midwestern cities, all in an effort to find freedom and opportunity, or at least bodily safety. Flight might also mean leaving a job when you aren't appreciated or aren't paid a fair or living wage. The Louisville Urban League is here to facilitate flight from a bad school, a bad job, a bad living situation. Finally, joy. Joy is an unlikely response to white supremacy, but a necessary one, a mental health protecting and soul-saving response. Joy is what a white person first notices walking into a black church. Because let me tell you, in my white church, it did not look like joy. White supremacy cannot define blackness. Black pride and joy turns white supremacy on its head, denies it power. Nina Simone sang about the joy of being young, gifted, and black. James Brown offered the one thing that he joked could solve most of our problems: dancing. In the 2020 racial justice protests, we held hands and we sang songs together. The Louisville Urban League creates an environment for and builds systems that nurture life, celebration, and joy. As we head into 2025, the Louisville Urban League is here to offer revolution, protection, force, flight, and joy where it's needed in response to things like anti-DEI initiatives in Frankfurt, in response to JCPS employees being attacked by legislators for speaking truth to their students, to declining black home ownership rates, to unequal wages, discriminatory policing practices, and half of the voting electorate who wanted to take us back to a time when marginalized people knew their place. To a president-elect who sends dog whistles to Proud Boys, orders Muslim bans on primary black countries, and invokes fear of black and brown migrants. To our own city officials that black people helped to elect, who are using a Republican victory in Washington as an opportunity to forego change in our police department today. To all of these forces and the many more we will face with your help, but let me tell you, only with your help, we go forward together. We rise, we resist, and we refrain. And we make our own forceful history of black resistance. So now I got to ask you for money. Because it's not going to happen unless we have your support. So as Lyndon mentioned, on your table you've got QR codes. You'll see the Mission Possible, not impossible, but possible donation form that has a QR code that you can use to make your donation today. We also have a second QR code on the agenda so you can become a member. If technology is not your thing, you can complete the donation form to support the movement by establishing an annual gift through monthly donations, joining the movement by becoming a member, or supporting the league in other ways, such as volunteering. One thing we started recently is a first date tour. If you ever want to see the work of the Urban League day to day, come in and visit and see it. It's amazing. Anytime I want to encourage people to donate to the league, I say spend an hour in the lobby and look at the folks that come in who need assistance in a variety of ways. And the Urban League doesn't turn anybody away. If they don't have the resources or the ability to help them, they'll find a place for them to be helped. Once you've completed your forms, the Louisville Urban League staff member who's sitting at your table will collect the items to ensure that they go to our development team. You can also give today by texting. Simply text the word LUL to 585-502. Again, that's 585-502, and you'll receive instructions on how to give. This movement would not happen without you. We've come a long way, but we've got miles to go, and we can get there together. Join the movement today with your gift and with your membership. Thank you very much.